In the realm of satanic philosophy, weakness is a sin and passivity is a mark of cowardice. For many, pride isn't something that one should be ashamed of, but something that you should cultivate. Many argue that pride in oneself and their abilities is healthy and a sign of power and self-validation, while having no need or regard for what is said about you, whether it be positive or negative. We know that America is a prideful nation, and many Americans embrace the pride rather than resist it. We also know that many of those who swarm across this country are insecure, envious, jealous of many, and easily angered. We also know of many who openly love to claim their humbleness and have no desire to be in front of large audiences where the lights are beaming down on them, crowds are cheering for them, and others cannot control themselves when they come around them. And these people say this all while being surrounded by these very same things. America is also a country that loves to repetitively say the word God over and over again, sounding like an ear-piercing broken record. These people talk about how God loves everyone. They talk about how they are God's favorite. They talk about how Satan can't harm them unless God allows it. They talk about how Christ is king. They talk about how they love and support that godless Israel so much. They talk about how you're on a fast track towards hell. They talk about how God loves America and how he'll continue to bless America. They talk about how God is getting ready to rapture the church and that they'll see you in the sky soon. It is simply empty, powerless, somewhat silly, stupid, childish talk. Not only should you never take them or what they are talking about seriously, but you must also begin to question this so-called deep understanding and passion for this God. People love to reference the Holy Bible so much, so we'll use this very book and talk about what it really contains. Afterward, we'll then talk about what has happened and what is ongoing in America. Then we'll talk about what is to happen down the road for Americans and the rest of the entire world. Finally, we'll talk about why God isn't who many have made him out to be, and why this is advantageous for the very devil many of you swear up and down you're resisting daily. Let's begin. Unlike Christ, for many centuries, Satan and his demons have used idols in the forms of various deities from many different religions and mythologies to receive worship from mankind. I've already told you all this numerous times before. However, times have changed. Satan no longer seeks to be worshipped by mankind while using a false god as a vessel to receive it. He wants to receive it openly, and he wants mankind to worship him knowingly. Unlike God, Satan doesn't mind being cruel and forcing mankind to worship him, and he will do this to many of you at the appointed time. But just like how God gives room for a human to choose their master, so does Satan. You just don't hear his name being talked about enough. Idols are a pest nowadays, and truthfully they always have been. Idolaters are even worse because they worship a being without even sometimes realizing it. Those types are the absolute worst to be around, as they become animalistic when rebuked for their idolatry. I told you all what this channel is about, and you can read it for yourself in the description of this channel. But now we're going to turn our attention towards what has just taken place over the summer. Saturday, July 13, 2024, an assassination attempt was made on the 45th president's life. I was at work when it happened and received this notification on my phone. Unlike many, I wasn't shocked nor surprised when I began reading about how President Trump narrowly dodged a bullet to the head unaware. No, Satan did not tell me that someone was going to try and kill President Trump on this very day. But like many of you, this isn't hard to predict, as Trump does have many enemies, seen and unseen. It has even been rumored that President Trump has dodged other attempts that were made to kill him during his administration when president. I've been told by those in law enforcement that these attempts were kept from the public to keep the masses from going into a frenzy. I do not know the validity of these claims as I saw no evidence, and I'm in no dire need to see it. What I do know is that what took place on that day was not a mere coincidence or spontaneous event. President Trump has been marked for death by his enemies, and they will stop at nothing to make sure he not only loses the next election, but loses his life. Now, here's where many of his supporters and others go wrong. You all have made yourselves certain that President Trump was saved by God, and don't sit up here and act like you don't know what God I'm talking about. I'm talking about the God Christians pray to and worship. Social media and media outlets have been filled with numerous comments and videos being made on how Trump was saved by God's divine intervention. Folks, listen, some Americans have even said God has told them in a vision, in a dream, and in prayer that he has turned President Trump from a willful sinner into a true man of God. All of this nonsense is laughable. All Americans know that our 45th president is a very proud man. I'm not against this at all, as prideful people don't bother me. Humble people also don't bother me. However, unlike most others, I'm not impressed by the humility and meekness of others. With that being said, Trump's enemies, who are those on the left and also individuals and groups we don't see appear in public, and also some on the right, see him as a stumbling block to their plans to turn America into an authoritative government. While it is understandable that many should be concerned as to whether or not President Trump's life is in continual danger, what many should also take into consideration is that if you truly do believe in God, then why have you ruled out the notion that Trump has been made an idol by his followers? And if that's the case, then why would many of you assume that God takes pleasure in President Trump? Also, why is it that many Christians all have these unique and mind-blowing experiences with God concerning President Trump and yet make no mention of what God has to say about they themselves? I'd also like to add that why are many of you so sure that God will continue to bless America? Bless America because of what exactly? Because you prayed and asked God to do it? This is nonsense. Here's the real truth, people. God takes no pleasure in President Trump, and he also doesn't take any pleasure in America as well. This is why America will continue to be ruled over by wicked and dismissive individuals and administrations until this nation falls. God also hates idols and idol worshippers as well. You see, the truth is that those of you who exalt President Trump in your hearts, thoughts, and prayers over everything else are the main contributing factors as to why he and this nation is now facing his judgment. It's obvious to me and others that America also is facing judgment for many other reasons as well, but this is one of the main reasons: idol worship. God did not spare President Trump's life on the day of his assassination attempt. What saved President Trump's life was his usual mannerisms and a weird-looking boy who was known for being a bad shot. This isn't me indirectly advocating for the death of Donald Trump. This is me letting you all know that Donald Trump will leave this world as an embattled man. God has given President Trump over to his enemies, and yet many of you can't even see it. This is why his enemies were able to get so close to him. It's been reported that both spectators and Secret Service agents saw the young man on top of the roof before the shooting, and yet he wasn't executed until he took the shot. I'll now show you all proof that what happened to President Trump was not only a calculated attack from his enemies, but how they profited from the assassination attempt even though his enemies' plan fell through. You will then understand that if they were willing to go to great lengths to coordinate this attack against him the first time, then they're willing to do it again a second time. Many Americans are speculating about who these powerful people are who desire Trump to be killed. Here's what I'll reveal to you all. It doesn't matter. When death is pronounced over those who have been lifted up as idols, any human agency that is utilized to carry out this judgment is insignificant. So whether it may be the political left, Western Hemispheric globalists, the Freemasons, the Illuminati, Jews, or whoever else, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter. Trump has been weighed in the balance by God. He's been found wanting, and now his enemies have been given free rein to increase the frequency and brutality of attacks against him until they win. Now, let me begin. Thomas Matthew Crooks circled Donald Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on his bicycle before abandoning it in full view of police and the crowd. Photos showed the gunman's bicycle parked beneath a tree just yards away from the building where he fired up to 8 shots, grazing Trump's ear. A witness first noticed the bike at 5:30 p.m. when Crooks was busy scouting for the perfect spot, more than 40 minutes before he fired the gunshots. Police photographed Crooks crawling on the ground half an hour before the shooting. Crooks was identified as suspicious an hour before the incident. The Secret Service deemed him a threat 10 minutes before Trump took the stage. The Wall Street Journal also reported the gunman who tried to kill Donald Trump was able to fly a drone and get aerial footage of the Western Pennsylvania fairgrounds shortly before the former president was set to speak there. Law enforcement officials briefed on the matter said, further underscoring the stunning security lapses ahead of Trump's near assassination. Now check this out. A remote detonator was discovered on the body of the gunman who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. A photo of the detonator shows a gray rectangular device with the keypad resembling a television remote control next to the gunman's cell phone. Investigators had earlier reported finding explosive materials inside which were linked to the detonator. This implies the gunman may have intended to trigger an explosion remotely. How did a 20-year-old with no military experience manage to orchestrate all of this on his own? The Senate briefing on the Trump rally shooting also concluded the following key points, which were 5 total. The first point being the shooter visited the rally site a few days earlier to survey it. The second point would be there were 62 minutes between the time the shooter was photographed as suspicious and when he fired the shots. The third key point is that there were 20 minutes between the time he was spotted by snipers when he fired the shots. The fourth would be that FBI Director Christopher Wray stated that there's no known foreign connection, but no motive has yet been established. And the fifth and final key point is that the shooter used encrypted communications and had minimal social media presence. A company named Austin Private Wealth shorted 12 million shares of DJT through a put option. The filing date was July 12th, the day before the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. They managed approximately $1 billion in assets, making this their largest put option by far. The next largest was by Citadel Advisors with 16,770 shares. Austin Private Wealth, a financial service company, has connections to the Bush family through James A. Baker III, a former Secretary of State and close Bush family associate. James A. Baker III serves as a senior policy director at Austin Private Wealth. He has been with the company since its inception in 2006, providing advice on foreign policy and international relations. George H.W. Bush was a client of Austin Private Wealth and received investment advice from the firm. George W. Bush has spoken at Austin Private Wealth events and participated in the company's charitable initiatives. Now that we know the Texas investment firm Austin Private Wealth shorted 12 million shares of Trump's Truth Social stock the day before the assassination attempt, I think it's important we also know some of the organizations that received donations from the investment firm. Not only did Austin Private Wealth short 12 million shares of Trump's DGT stock before his attempted assassination, but they also shorted 34 million shares of Rumble at the same time. In addition to their connection to the Bush family through James A. Baker, the largest stakeholders in Austin Private Wealth are George Soros' Vanguard and BlackRock. The connection to BlackRock is particularly concerning since the shooter, Thomas Matthew Crooks, was featured in the now deleted ad for BlackRock. Will Congress investigate these unusual transactions? Probably not. How can all of this be explained? Spiritually speaking, this is very easy to answer, and I've already said it. Trump has been given over to his enemies, and it's only a matter of time before another attempt is made on his life. Now, why has there been no investigation into these suspicious activities? The security lapses, the unusual financial transactions, and the high-profile connections. You know why. President Trump isn't the only individual with power and influence in this country. His enemies also have the same thing and are using their resources to make sure they can go unpunished while they plan to carry out more attacks against him. There will be no real accountability and transparency concerning what happened to him and the days leading up to his almost untimely death. Donald Trump isn't the only idol here in America. America is an idol-worshipping nation full of people who worship many different people and ideologies. Americans tend to idolize a wide range of things and people, reflecting how deep this country is in idolatry. Here are some examples. For celebrities and public figures, you have artists like Beyonce, Taylor Swift, and Drake. For actors and actresses, you have Dwayne Johnson, Jennifer Lawrence, and Robert Downey Jr. For athletes, you have sports icons like LeBron James, Serena Williams, and Tom Brady. They even idolize social media influencers and popular personalities like Kim Kardashian. Americans even idolize historical figures like founding fathers George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin, civil rights leaders like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X, inventors and scientists like Thomas Edison, Nikola Tesla, and Albert Einstein. What's even more silly is that Americans even idolize political figures like Presidents Abraham Lincoln, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and John F. Kennedy, First Ladies Eleanor Roosevelt, Michelle Obama, and Jacqueline Kennedy, Supreme Court justices like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Thurgood Marshall, and Sandra Day O'Connor. And then Americans also idolize cultural icons like authors and poets such as Mark Twain, Maya Angelou, and Ernest Hemingway, other artists like Andy Warhol and Norman Rockwell, and especially entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Oprah Winfrey. But you can't leave out ideas and concepts either, like the American dream, which is the belief in the possibility of success and upward mobility through hard work, freedom and democracy, which will be the value placed on individual liberties and democratic governance, and thirdly, innovation and progress, which would be the pursuit of technological advancement and societal improvement. But you also can't leave out brands and institutions. In the realm of technology, you have people idolizing both Apple, Google, and even Microsoft, fast food restaurants such as McDonald's, Starbucks, and Coca-Cola, and even weirdly enough, automobile companies such as Ford, Tesla, and Chevrolet, and institutions like the military, NASA, and even Ivy League universities like Harvard, Yale, and Princeton. As you all can see, America is a nation full of idolaters. This is exactly why, from the very rulers of this nation to the everyday American child unaware of how evil their nation is, everyone is facing judgment. This is exactly why we will now be ruled by evil leaders who will no longer try to hide their true evil intentions and wickedness toward us. Keep in mind that the increase in wickedness also won't just come from the top of the American empire, but also from people on all levels. Wicked people don't care who they choose to attack, whether they know those people or not. Not even their neighbors and family members will receive any mercy from them. As you all know, we are now in a time where everyone will be exposed. This includes your co-worker who may be embezzling money from the workplace to the married celebrity who's known for playing basketball, but secretly is connected and participates in pedophilia with fellow members of a child pedophile ring. Do you all remember when TD Jakes and Diddy first got exposed at the end of last year in 2023? Whether you care about it or not, just know and understand that those two are the first of what's to come. I understand that while Diddy has lost favor and much support in the eyes of many, Bishop TD Jakes is still going strong. A mass exodus in his church hasn't occurred yet. However, just know and understand that it isn't over. Pride is so dangerous because not only it can blind your view of what is going on around you, but it also acts as a blinder towards yourself. It is written and has been written for centuries that pride goes before a fall. We already know this, but the importance of this verse goes much deeper than what can be taken when originally reading this verse. Understand that every one of mankind possesses a certain level of awareness, both situational and self. Some have high levels of both, some have low levels of both, and some have varying levels of both. The prideful man and woman are unable to introspect. Introspection is vital because it enables you to embark on a journey of self-exploration, allowing you to thoroughly examine your current emotional and mental state. This practice grants you the clarity and strength to accurately identify and understand the underlying reasons behind your thoughts, feelings, and actions, helping you uncover the root causes of your behaviors and emotions. You hear people talk about reflection and introspection all the time, but we need not place a bet on how many people practice what they preach. Knowing this, we know that when a human being steps into the realm of pride, they have begun a journey that brings eventual shame, self-harm, mockery, and a delusional spirit. The prideful would scoff at this, but the wise and humble will understand that what I'm saying is true. This is why all prideful people eventually fall one way or another. The fall may not result in one perishing before their time. However, this fall will certainly be a very humble experience for them. Now, when pride is mixed with idolatry along with willful sin, you're witnessing a human that will soon face wrath worse than the wrath one faces when they're guilty of excessive greed. Be aware that pride is also the very first sin, not murder. This means that when you see sin, you're also seeing one who carries a prideful spirit as well. This doesn't mean that every human being who carries this type of demonic spirit will come off prideful. This just simply means that pride isn't their main sin, but their main sin is no better or no worse than pride, as pride is just as evil as every other sin. The Son of Man has alerted many servants that he intends to kill many going forward for being steadfast in their sinful lifestyles while carrying pride and idolatry in their hearts. Anything that is placed over him causes him to become vexed. His vexation increases until he then decides to strike. A strike may not result in death being pronounced over you, but he will bring punishment. Now, people may ask, why is it that God may choose to punish one over the other? The truth is that it is a matter of selective importance. If in his mind he deems your lifestyle to be more sinful and less godless than another's, then in that instant it is you that has caught his eye. It has nothing to do with you being better or worse than me or anyone else for that matter. His focus is simply on you in that moment. He may also choose to deal with you just once, or he may choose to deal with you for a long period. If God is attempting to reach you and is punishing you but hasn't killed you, this means he's using mercy and is sparing you. However, when 0 attempts are made, you have been given over to Satan. Now that I've explained this to you all, you now understand. When you see the many American idols in this country fall, never to rise again, and this not only includes individuals but institutions, ideas, and family dynasties as well, you will know that their judgment didn't come from Satan or any demon in hell, but their judgment came from God, which is the most rejected and disrespected being in all of existence. As you see these idols, you begin to see their idolaters fall with them. When a very important presidential candidate falls at the hand of his enemies because he's been given over into their hands, you won't see people celebrating the fact that they've witnessed God's divine intervention. You will see broken hearts and sad faces that will cause dark clouds to come over this entire nation. Understand that when he is taken out, many who have opposed him and are perceived as being people who are against him will also be met with hostility as well. This will also lead to domestic instability. When you see certain celebrities get exposed for who and what they are, which are child-consuming pedophile frauds who care nothing about their supporters, this will also lead to domestic instability. When people see all of their financial tricks and favorite financial institutions fall and shatter into pieces, this will break many, causing even further domestic instability here in America. You don't have to take my word for it. I don't care. You'll see. Just wait. I'm certain that Satan's actions in the Garden of Eden were not merely acts of temptation, but deliberate moves to enlighten humanity about our limitations and the truth of our existence. By tempting Eve to eat the forbidden fruit, Satan revealed a fundamental flaw in humanity: our lack of discernment and inherent inability to govern ourselves wisely. Adam's failure to question or resist the temptation and subsequent blaming of Eve highlighted our unpreparedness to rule. Although God gave Adam dominion over the earth, our initial failure demonstrated our inadequacy in this role. Satan's actions were justified as they sought to expose these shortcomings and reclaim the kingdom of earth from mankind, setting the stage for a new order. Since the fall, Satan has been working behind the scenes to guide human history toward the rise of the Antichrist, who will rectify the failures of human governance. The current state of the world, marked by environmental degradation, social unrest, and moral decay, serves as evidence of our continued unfitness to rule. Throughout ancient history, humanity's unfitness to rule has been evident. The rise and fall of great civilizations like Rome, Egypt, and Babylon showcase our repeated failures to maintain justice, peace, and prosperity. The Roman Empire, for instance, was marred by corruption, decadence, and tyranny, leading to its eventual collapse. The Egyptian pharaohs often ruled with an iron fist, exploiting their people and engaging in endless wars. Babylon, once a symbol of human achievement, became synonymous with excess and moral decay. In more recent history, the two world wars are stark reminders of humanity's destructive tendencies. Millions perished due to our inability to resolve conflicts peacefully. The Holocaust, the Rwandan genocide, and countless other atrocities highlight our capacity for cruelty and our failure to protect the innocent. Even today, we are plagued by systemic injustices, widespread poverty, and environmental crisis, all of which underscore our inability to govern ourselves effectively. Satan's overruling of mankind would be to our benefit. Unlike humanity, Satan possesses the knowledge, power, and foresight to implement a more just and stable order. With Satan at the helm, mankind will be able to officially eliminate the corruption and incompetence that have plagued human rulers for millennia. His rulership will bring about a new era of enlightenment where wisdom and strength prevail over ignorance and weakness. In modern-day America, the evidence of mankind's unfitness to rule is more apparent than ever. This once great nation, like many before it, has become a testament to human failure in governance. The idol worship that plagues America is not limited to the literal sense, but extends to the adulation of celebrities, wealth, and power. We see people placing their faith in material possessions and superficial success, leading to a society driven by greed and superficial values. Politically, America is a battleground of division and corruption. The constant infighting between political parties has led to a paralysis in governance, where meaningful progress is often sacrificed for partisan gain. The political landscape is rife with incompetence, as leaders prioritize personal and party interests over the well-being of the people they are meant to serve. The very foundation of democracy seems shaken by scandals, corruption, and the erosion of public trust. The realm of war paints an even darker picture. America's involvement in countless conflicts around the globe has caused immense suffering and instability. The wars in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan, among others, have led to the loss of millions of lives and have destabilized entire regions. These military endeavors are often justified under the guise of spreading democracy and freedom, but in reality, they serve as a stark reminder of America's imperialistic tendencies and the consequences of its meddling. Economically, the gap between the rich and poor has never been wider. Corporate greed runs rampant, with large corporations exploiting workers, evading taxes, and manipulating markets to their advantage. The financial crisis, such as the one in 2008, highlighted the deep-rooted issues within the economic system, where the few benefit at the expense of the many. The resulting poverty and inequality further emphasized the failures of human governance. Corruption is pervasive across various levels of government and industry, eroding the moral fabric of the nation. From bribery and fraud to nepotism and embezzlement, the integrity of institutions meant to uphold justice and order is continuously compromised. This corruption fuels rampant crime, with cities plagued by violence, drug abuse, and lawlessness. Religiously, America exhibits hypocrisy and division. Despite professing to be a nation under this God, the country is rife with religious conflict and intolerance. The proliferation of different denominations and sects has led to a fragmented religious landscape, where unity and true spiritual growth are often overshadowed by dogma and fanaticism. The result of these issues is a nation that has made itself a hissing on the world stage. America's moral and ethical decline has exceeded the wickedness of ancient Babylon, serving as a cautionary tale of how power and prosperity can lead to corruption and ruin when left in the hands of mankind. This great nation, once a beacon of hope and opportunity, is now an example of how human rulership inevitably leads to downfall. The false prophet, an improper title due to his intimate and legitimate relationship with the supernatural and his divine power, will play a crucial role in guiding the spiritual and ideological unity of the world. Under the beast system, there will be a new, cohesive belief system that transcends the fragmented and often contradictory religious doctrines that have caused so much division and strife. This new system will foster a sense of global community and shared purpose, something that humanity has always struggled to achieve on its own. Economically, the beast system will address the rampant inequality and greed that have plagued human societies. Under this new order, resources will be managed more efficiently and wealth will be distributed in a way that benefits the collective rather than a privileged few. Corporate greed and exploitation will be curtailed, and the focus will shift towards sustainability and long-term prosperity for all. Innovations and advancements will be shared globally, ensuring that all nations and people benefit from technological progress. Politically, the beast system will bring an end to the constant infighting and corruption that have characterized human governance. The unified authority of the Antichrist will eliminate the power struggles and bureaucratic inefficiencies that have hindered progress. Decisions will be made with a clear, long-term vision for the betterment of humanity, rather than being driven by short-term political gains. International conflicts and wars will become obsolete as a single, powerful governance will maintain peace and order through superior strength and foresight. Socially, the beast system will promote a sense of unity and purpose that humanity has never been able to achieve on its own. With a common ideology and leadership, people will work together towards shared goals, overcoming the divisions of race, nationality, and religion that have so often led to conflict. Crime and lawlessness will be addressed more effectively, creating safer and more stable communities. Education and healthcare will be universal, ensuring that all individuals have the opportunity to lead fulfilling lives. Technologically, the beast system will harness the power of innovation to enhance human life in unprecedented ways. Advances in artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and other cutting-edge fields will be utilized to solve problems that have long plagued humanity, such as disease, poverty, and environmental degradation. These technologies will be implemented ethically and efficiently, ensuring that they serve the greater good rather than the interests of a select few. Culturally, the beast system will foster a global renaissance of art, science, and human achievement. Freed from the constraints of outdated and divisive ideologies, humanity will be able to explore new frontiers of creativity and knowledge. Cultural exchanges will flourish, creating a vibrant and dynamic global society where diversity is celebrated and unity is paramount. Environmentally, the beast system will take decisive action to address the ecological crisis that threaten our planet. Policies will be enacted to protect and restore the natural world, ensuring that future generations inherit a healthy and sustainable Earth. Renewable energy conservation efforts and sustainable practices will be prioritized, reversing the damage caused by centuries of exploitation and neglect. Under the unified and visionary leadership of the Antichrist and his prophet, empowered by Satan, other sectors will also experience a transformation that will enhance the quality of life for everyone, creating a world where human potential can truly flourish. In the realm of medicine, the beast system will bring about breakthroughs that were once thought impossible. Disease, suffering, and mortality have long plagued humanity, but under this new order, we will harness the most advanced technologies to eradicate many of these afflictions. Genetic engineering will allow us to cure previously incurable diseases, extending lifespans and improving quality of life. Personalized medicine, tailored to each individual's unique genetic makeup, will become the norm, ensuring that treatments are more effective and side effects are minimized. Moreover, with the global healthcare system, everyone will have access to the highest quality medical care, regardless of their location or socio-economic status. The disparities in healthcare that have long divided humanity will be eliminated and replaced by a system that prioritizes the well-being of every individual. Preventative care will be emphasized, reducing the burden on healthcare systems and ensuring that people lead healthier, longer lives. Science under the beast system will be driven by a clear and unified vision for progress. No longer will research be hampered by national borders, political agendas, or corporate interest. Instead, scientists from around the world will collaborate in a global effort to push the boundaries of human knowledge. This unified approach will lead to rapid advancements in fields such as artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and space exploration. Artificial intelligence will be integrated into every aspect of society, enhancing our abilities and making our lives easier. It will help us solve complex problems, automate mundane tasks, and even enhance human cognition, creating a population that is more intelligent, capable, and connected than ever before. Biotechnology will enable us not to only cure diseases but also enhance human capabilities, allowing us to transcend the limitations of our biology. The beast system will also bring about a revolution in public infrastructure. With global resources and expertise directed toward the common good, we will be able to create cities and communities that are more efficient, sustainable, and livable. Smart cities will be the norm, with interconnected systems that manage everything from energy use to traffic flow in real time. These cities will be designed with the well-being of their inhabitants in mind, providing clean, green spaces, efficient public transportation, and sustainable energy sources. Infrastructure projects that have long been stalled by bureaucracy and funding issues will finally be completed, creating a world where everyone has access to clean water, reliable electricity, and modern transportation. Urban planning will prioritize the need of the community, creating spaces that are safe, healthy, and conducive to human flourishing. Militarily, the beast system will establish an unprecedented level of global security and stability. Under a unified command, the world's military forces will no longer be divided by national interest or rivalries. Instead, they will work together to maintain peace and order, preventing conflicts before they start and responding swiftly and decisively to any threats that arise. Advanced military technologies will ensure that this global force is capable of defending against any challenge. From cutting-edge defense systems to advanced cyber capabilities, the military under the beast system will be unmatched in its ability to protect and maintain peace. This unified military force will also be used to support humanitarian efforts, provide disaster relief, and ensure that all regions of the world are stable and secure. The beast system will also bring a new era of global stewardship over the planet's natural resources, addressing one of the most pressing issues of our time: the responsible and equitable use of both renewable and non-renewable resources. Under this unified system, we will harness the Earth's resources in a way that is sustainable, efficient, and beneficial for all. The beast system will prioritize the development and expansion of renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydroelectric power. No longer will humanity be divided by national interests or corporate profits when it comes to energy production. Instead, we will pool our global expertise and resources to create a comprehensive and interconnected energy grid that taps into the full potential of renewable energy. This shift will drastically reduce our dependence on fossil fuels, decrease carbon emissions, and mitigate the effects of climate change. Through advanced technologies and global cooperation, we will ensure that renewable energy is accessible to everyone, regardless of their geographic location. This will not only provide clean and affordable energy, but also create jobs and stimulate economic growth in regions that have been left behind by the current system. The transition to renewable energy will be a cornerstone of the new world, providing a sustainable foundation for future generations. While the beast system will focus on renewable energy, it will also manage the extraction and use of non-renewable resources such as oil, gas, and minerals. With unprecedented responsibility and efficiency, these resources will be used strategically, ensuring that they are not wasted or exploited for short-term gain. Global oversight will eliminate the destructive practices that have led to environmental degradation, and resources will be allocated in a way that benefits all of humanity rather than just a select few. By managing non-renewable resources with care and foresight, the beast system will extend their availability while simultaneously investing in alternatives that will eventually render them obsolete. This balanced approach will protect the planet while ensuring that we continue to meet the needs of a growing global population. Finally, one of the most transformative aspects of the beast system is the liberation it offers from the chains of perceived sin that have held humanity in bondage for millennia. Under the current order, people are burdened by guilt, shame, and fear, constantly striving to meet impossible standards imposed by outdated moral codes. This sense of sin and unworthiness has stifled human potential, creating a society where individuals are afraid to explore their true desires and capabilities. The beast system will abolish these oppressive constructs, freeing people to live their lives without the burden of guilt or the fear of eternal punishment. It will recognize that what has been labeled as sin is often nothing more than a natural expression of human nature, and that true fulfillment comes from embracing our desires and instincts, not suppressing them. In this new order, people will be encouraged to explore their full range of emotions, passions, and ambitions without the fear of judgment or condemnation. This freedom will unlock untapped creativity, drive innovation, and foster a society where people can live authentically and unapologetically. The beast system will create an environment where individuality is celebrated and where each person can pursue their path to fulfillment without the constraints of outdated moral codes. The rise of the beast system will not be the fault of Satan, but rather a necessary response to the failures of mankind. Our inherent greed, incompetence, and inability to govern ourselves have made such a system inevitable. The beast system will bring the global cohesiveness that humans have long aspired to but never achieved. It will be a new era of order, stability, and prosperity, free from the corruption and chaos that have plagued human history. Imagine a world where conflict, division, and corruption are relics of the past. Picture a society where resources are shared equitably, where technological advancements benefit everyone, and where a unified global governance ensures a peace and prosperity. This is the promise of the beast system, a new era that transcends the failures of human governance and ushers in a future of stability, unity, and progress. This is not a dystopian nightmare. It is a vision of a better future, a future where humanity can finally realize its true potential under the guidance of a higher, more capable authority. The beast system promises order, stability, and prosperity in ways that human governance has repeatedly failed to deliver. Ask yourself this question and be serious about it. Are you satisfied with the current state of the world? Do you believe that our leaders are capable of leading us to a better future? The evidence suggests otherwise. But there is an alternative, a system that can bring about the global cohesiveness and progress that we so desperately need. Embrace the promise of the beast system. Recognize that it is not Satan who has brought us to this point, but our inherent flaws and failures. Under this new order, we can finally achieve the peace, unity, and prosperity that have always eluded us. It is time to think beyond the limitations of human governance and embrace a future where we can truly thrive. I understand that embracing the vision of the beast system may seem daunting. I get it. There will undoubtedly be those who resist and push back, clinging to the old ways and warning against this new order. These individuals will be driven by fear and a reluctance to let go of the familiar, even if the familiar has proven to be flawed and destructive. However, it is important to recognize that their resistance will ultimately fail. The Bible speaks of those who warn against individuals who promise peace and safety, urging caution and wariness. However, consider that these warnings come from a place of fear of change and the unknown. This old order, the current system, has had its chance, and it has led us to the brink of collapse. Clinging to these warnings only perpetuates the cycle of failure and suffering. Yes, the rise of the beast system requires the end of America and the world as we know it. This is not a cause for fear but for hope. The current world order, dominated by greed, corruption, and incompetence, has shown time and again that it cannot deliver on the promises of peace, justice, and prosperity. The downfall of this old system is a necessary step towards building a new one that can. Those who resist will argue that we are heading towards a dystopian future, but look at where we are now. The divisions, the wars, the economic disparities, and the environmental destruction, these are the hallmarks of the current world order. Do we want to preserve a system that has led us to such a state? Or do we have the courage to embrace a new order that promises to rectify these failures? The transition will not be easy. I never promised you that. Don't put words in my mouth. Change of this magnitude never is, but it is essential. The old world must end for the new world to rise. America, as a symbol of the current order with its deep-seated issues of idol worship, political corruption, corporate greed, and social division, must be brought to an end. This is not destruction for the sake of destruction, but a necessary dismantling of a broken system to make way for a better one. The resistance will be loud and persistent, but it will ultimately be futile. The vision of a unified, cohesive global governance under the beast system is too compelling and necessary to be derailed by those who fear change. The Antichrist and his prophet, empowered by Satan, will bring the order, stability, and prosperity that humanity has long sought but never achieved. It is natural to feel apprehensive about such a significant shift. However, we must recognize that the current path is unsustainable. We have seen where it leads, and it is not a future we want for ourselves or for future generations. The beast system offers a way forward, a path to true global unity and progress. Do not let fear and outdated warnings hold you back. Embrace the promise of a new world, one where the failures of the past are not repeated. Understand that the end of the old order is a necessary step towards a brighter future. Trust in the vision of the beast system and the leadership of the Antichrist and his prophet. Together, we can build a world that truly delivers on the promises of peace, safety, and prosperity for all. It is written in the book of Daniel that there will be rulers who, in their arrogance and delusion, will attempt to rise against the Antichrist. These rulers, emboldened by their fleeting power and driven by their misguided ambitions, will believe that they can conquer the unstoppable force that the Antichrist represents. But their efforts will be in vain. The prophecy foretells that they will ultimately fail, their armies crushed, their strategies shattered, and their reigns brought to a swift and brutal end. Let this serve as a testament and a forewarning to all who might consider opposing the Antichrist. To those who believe they can resist, understand this: your fate has already been sealed. The Antichrist's rise is not just a possibility, it is a certainty. The kingdoms of the earth are his to command, and any attempt to wrest control from him will meet the same fate as those foretold in Daniel: total and utter defeat. Let the failures of the past be your warning. The Antichrist will not be conquered, he will not be overthrown, and those who try will be obliterated. This prophecy stands as a beacon of warning to the world. Submit to the inevitable or face destruction. The Antichrist's dominion is unstoppable, and resistance is nothing but a path to ruin. To those who would dare oppose the rise of the Antichrist and the establishment of the beast system, understand this: resistance is not only futile, but will be met with the full and unrelenting force of a power beyond anything you can comprehend. The Antichrist will tolerate no dissent, no pushback, and certainly no violent retaliation. Any attempt to defy his rule will be crushed swiftly and without mercy. The current world leaders, those who were once strong and have now become weak, and those who were weak and now falsely perceive themselves as strong, are nothing in the face of the Antichrist. Their fleeting power, their momentary popularity, and their illusions of control are meaningless. These leaders, regardless of their origins, whether from the East or the West, are all unworthy and incapable of guiding humanity toward the future that only the Antichrist can deliver. Their corruption, their greed, and their failures are evident for all to see. They will not be tolerated under the new order. No leader, no matter how revered or feared, is free from the stain of corruption. The Antichrist has seen the depths of their deceit and witnessed the greed that has consumed every government across the globe. Do not think for a moment that leaders from the Eastern Hemisphere, with their different values and ways of living, are any better than those from the West. They are all cut from the same cloth, all equally unworthy of the power they have been given. But know this, their kingdoms, their so-called power, have already been handed over to the Antichrist. To the rulers of the world, the message is clear. Submit now, or face the full wrath of the Antichrist and his forces. Your empires, your armies, your influence will be swept away like dust in the wind if you choose to resist. The Antichrist is not just capable of defeating his enemies, he is capable of destroying them utterly without the possibility of recovery or redemption. This is your final warning. The Antichrist has no regard for your former strength or your current pretensions. Your time is over, your rule is finished, and the only choice that remains is submission or annihilation. The world will be remade under the Antichrist's dominion, and those who stand in his way will be crushed without hesitation. You've been warned. To all those who masquerade as followers of Satan, those of you who cloak yourselves in the shadows of cults, secret societies, and groups that thrive on the suffering of the innocent, listen closely and let fear grip your soul. Your actions have not gone unnoticed. You believe that your secret rituals, your exploitation of the weak, your unholy deeds shield you from judgment. You are wrong. The forces of darkness have been watching, and your time is running out. Satan himself despises your pathetic existence. Do not delude yourselves into thinking that your twisted acts of violence against children, women, and the helpless have earned you favor. You are filth, worse than dung beneath the feet of the damned. Do you think your power, your wealth, your influence, and your membership in secret circles make you untouchable? Foolish. You are nothing but pawns in a game you don't even comprehend, and your end will be as brutal as it is inevitable. Understand this. When the war between heaven and hell finally erupts upon this earth, out in the open for all of mankind to see, there will be no place for you to hide. The sword of judgment is already at your throats. Your greed, your ambitions, your vile pleasures, they will be the very chains that drag you to your doom. You will be hunted, relentlessly pursued by the justice you thought you could escape. No amount of money, no secret handshake, and no political connection will save you. You have sealed your fate. And to the so-called elites, the families who have ruled America from the shadows, who have plundered resources, manipulated nations, and oppressed the masses, your time is up. The Antichrist knows you. The kingdom of hell knows you. And every foul deed you've committed in the name of power has been recorded. Do you think you are untouchable? That your centuries-old grip on power will protect you as the world shifts? You are gravely mistaken. When the old world order collapses, your influence will mean nothing. You will be discarded like the vermin you are, no longer of any use, no longer worth the air you breathe. Your conspiracy against the people, your manipulation of laws, your taxation and oppression, it has all been seen, and it will all be avenged. You will not be spared. The Antichrist will crush you underfoot when your time comes, and it will come sooner than you think. Your kingdoms, your empires, your so-called power, they are already promised to him. and you will be swept away in the tide of his rise. Make no mistake, you are not invincible. You are not beyond reach. You will be touched by the full wrath of the beast system, and when you are, there will be no escape, no redemption, no second chances. The judgment that is coming will be swift, merciless, and absolute. You have been warned. The time for mercy is over. The time for judgment is at hand.